Hello, I'm Aditya Joshi. I am a Master in Management student at HEC Paris, and I just finished my gap year, during which I did two internships, one at Amazon, another at PwC, both at their Luxembourgish offices. So while I was going through my years in BITS Pilani, I sort of saw that I wasn't so much interested in physics. I felt like I was more interested in physics before I joined physics, an MSc in physics, and then I kind of realized what physics is really all about. It's more mathematics than what you do in your 11th, 12th. So I kind of lost interest in physics. I took up mechanical engineering as a dual. I was kind of interested in, but not so much. The theory part was interesting, but having a job in mechanical engineering is a completely different thing. So I thought it's nice to study and all, but if I want to have a job, I would like to have something a bit more maybe on the business side, but at least if you want to keep it technical, maybe something more related to data or something, maybe coding, but I wasn't so much into coding either. So I found out data as one of those things which I can jump into right now, because it doesn't require as much skills on an intern's level, and it's quite easy to pick up. So thankfully I got this internship at Tesco, and I explored it, and I realized that at Tesco I actually realized that if I don't want to be an engineer, I don't have to be one. It was about, I was graduating in 2018 from BITS Pilani, and I could go the traditional route of, I was interested in business studies. I worked about a year at Tesco, and I wanted to pursue a business career later on. So the options were simply to work for a few years and then go for an MBA. There was this MIM thing appeared sort of as a shortcut, that you can go into the business studies right now. Why do you need to work in potentially a technical field or something that is more related to engineering at the moment? So it seemed to me as a very good deal, save a few years and you can directly jump into business and use those 2-3 years later on to work in the business field that you actually want to work in the long term. I would say if you are a person who graduated from your engineering, you got a very nice job, let's say you want to work in finance future and you've got a really nice some sort of IB analyst in one of the bigger banks, and you would like to probably explore that for a few years. You would want to know if that is the thing you want. A lot of people think that's what your life as an investment banking analyst would be, but you later on realize different, or you realize it's much better than what you thought. So you might want to take out that time. And if you do that, then you have the option to go for an MBA. So your experience also counts for something after the MBA. So I would say if you are more strongly already have a decision that you want to go into finance or you want to go into strategy and you have an option lined up, you should definitely explore it and rather go for an MBA. I on the other hand was a bit more confused at the end of my graduation, and I thought I could use that extra time to explore the business field more before committing to one of the options that it provides. Experience is never a waste. If you have a few years of experience, worked in a nice company, you've had a nice role, you've learned something, you can always showcase it further to recruiters. And I think when you join an MIM, your first challenge is to find an internship. How good an internship you get, or do you really get the internship you want? That can depend on what you bring on your CV. So if you bring, let's say, 1 year of working at a nice business role, something that you're also looking for in your internship, that one experience is give you the biggest possible edge in your CV that it can give to any student, any candidate. So you will take an extra year to reach there up to that point, but you will be a much stronger candidate for the same role. You'll again have to restart your career. It's like getting placed again. And in India, how you say that your placement can decide which fields you go into, and like it can really fork out your career path. So you get another option to do that. And if you have some experience, it can be quite decisive. And like, for example, for me, I brought some experience. I brought a year of experience working as a business analyst, as sort of a data analyst, and my data skills, you can say, were quite helpful in me getting my internships for my gap year. So one thing led to the another, and now my combined experience working as a data analyst or a business analyst is, I think, enough to score a good job. I think it's quite similar. If you want to change an industry, an MBA and MIM, I don't see any difference between the two. Like if you want to switch an industry, you just get, as I said, you get a hard reset. You can choose again, you can restart your career, and you've had, let's say, some experience as a data analyst. You feel like, I want to go into the IB route. You'll be applying for jobs which are entry level. That's the basic difference between MIM and MBA. In MBA, I would say switching career would be easier in MIM because you will be competing for entry level jobs. So in MBA, you might be required to have some experience because you'll be joining a slightly higher position, and in MIM you'll be competing for an entry level position in a bank, in strategy teams in different companies and whatever. And you wouldn't be expected much of, like, it's okay if you do not bring any experience with you because this is an entry level position. So that's in that sense, switching career is quite easy. Let's say you've worked a year in data and you want to go into explore investment banking, you can do that very easily. You have earned some skills in data, can be very helpful in investment banking as well, but they're not looking for you to have some very relevant IB skills to be able to join in as an IB analyst. Sure, you're going to learn plenty during your course. Your experience is okay to be something else. I would say it's completely dependent on which university you are. Like, that is the biggest factor. I can tell about my university at HEC. In M1, I think we were quite juiced out. Like, we were always, like, we had classes. Whatever time we had, like, we were already in, like, a part of, let's say, 3 or 4 ongoing projects, and we had to meet with everyone, decide how to do this, who will prepare the presentations, who will deliver it, who will do the research on content. And like, we were always onto this. Then we had suddenly, like, one exam gets over, the other one comes in, and I think the first year just went by a flash for me. Like, and the second one I expected is going to be slightly more calmer, but then the second year would depend more on you, like what you want to really do. If you want to look for a job, there is no end to applications, so that requires a lot of work. You have to reach out to companies yourself, you have to make contacts, you have to sometimes just go out and have a coffee with them. You have to take out all those times, and that kind of makes your schedule quite packed. I think one of the great things I'm thankful for while as a gap year student was that the gap year is quite strong in the European university culture. A lot of people take it. A lot of HRs are aware of it. If you do an internship, they'll ask you, is it like an end of studies internship or a gap year internship? Like, they're already aware with the lingo and what you do, and like, it's quite common. Recruiters in Europe are a bit you can say not so confident about a candidate who has never worked in Europe. So they would prefer someone who understands the culture, the working culture, and like how things work in Europe. If you've never worked, you can have some difficulties, like, which is quite a genuine concern. You can have some difficulties working with the team. And when you're finally looking for your job after your 2 years, after your graduation, if you have some work experience in Europe on your CV, that could make a lot of difference, because some of the traditional companies might even like simply reject you because you've never worked in Europe, and we are not going to be the first ones to make you realize whether you're a good fit or not. So they might want you to do some internships first. If they hire you, they might even say that you can join as an intern, and then later on we'll see whether we want to convert it. As the gap year was starting, I started looking for internships. Initially, my target was that let's try to get a big name on my CV, because you can say all these things that you want to work, you want to explore, you want to learn all these things, but at the end of the day, you also have that piece of your mind which is saying just keep your CV shiny, so that at the end of the day you have some parachutes. So I started applying, like for the first half I started applying for all the bigger firms, bigger companies, Amazon and P&G, and like whatever big brands I can find on my like would look good in my CV. And Amazon, I got a call from Amazon. I really I think I prepared very well for the interview. They passed on. I went one round after another. I finally got the offer, and I had another offer from another company, but I decided to join Amazon primarily because it was in Europe, and it was the deal for data in Europe. It was like, I think it is the most data-driven company or one of the offices you can join in Europe. So I thought, like, that's for Amazon. And for PwC, I would say it was my jump into consulting. I was, for my second half, I was looking for some role which gives me that consulting experience, because at Amazon, I experienced more of a traditional company experience where you have a manager. The manager is responsible for what you do, what you work on, and like it's basically looking out for you. At consulting, it could be you for yourself, because that's the kind of atmosphere I felt was there at PwC. You need to bring in projects for your business unit, you need to bring in money, you need to prove yourself that you are a valuable asset for the team. That's how you move ahead in your career. So that atmosphere, I think, is like something that really ingrains into you, that learning aspect, that you have to deliver real value, else you won't be an asset to the team. You won't be able to progress. If you graduate from HEC Paris, you can speak French and do not have a lot of visa issues. I can guarantee you'll get a job very easily. Like, these are three defining factors. And other B schools, I would say there are very other good B schools in France itself. There is ESCP, there is HEC, hold a very good reputation. Probably not as good as HEC, but still very good. Gives you just as much opportunities in the job market. I think the biggest defining factor would be the reputation of HEC, which is like kind of unique.